The Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The apostles said to Jesus, "Increase our faith." Jesus replied, "If you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, 'Be uprooted and planted in the sea,' and it would obey you. Who among you would say to your slave who has just come in from plowing or tending sheep in the field, 'Come here at once and take your place at the table'? Would you not rather say to him, 'Prepare supper for me, put on your apron and serve me while I eat and drink. Later you may eat and drink'? Do you thank the slave for doing what was commanded? So you also, when you have done all that you were ordered to do, say, 'You are worthless slaves. We have done only what we ought to have done.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated. I thrive off of words of affirmation. If you're familiar with love languages, you know what this means. If you haven't heard of them before, I really encourage you to look them up and take the simple online quiz. It's something that I really love to talk about, and I'd be happy to talk about with any of you. The point of love languages, though, is that it helps us highlight what drives us and what makes us feel loved. For those of you who feel loved by receiving words of affirmation, we might struggle with self-validation and trusting our abilities that God gave us. And if you have a different primary love language, doesn't mean you still might not struggle with that. The parable of the mustard seed is reminding us that we already have what we need inside of us. It's telling us that we are already capable right now. We have the faith that it takes. We just need to learn to access it and trust its presence. At this point in the gospel, the disciples have been following Jesus for a while now. And at times, they are growing weary. We all have good days and bad days. And sometimes when we've had several bad days in a row, it becomes really difficult to connect with our inner confidence and faith. Just like the disciples can grow weary, so can we. Like the prophet Habakkuk, we might be questioning where God is among the violence, destruction, and wrongdoing in the world. We might be wondering, how long, oh God, how long? It can be really hard to trust that God is still present and will continue to be faithful when horrible things are happening all around us. And I don't think I need to list off some of the horrible things that are happening. We hear about them every day. Let me tell you, though, that although it is important to cling to our faith, it's okay to be weary. God is strong enough to hold our weary hearts and our heavy burdens. God carries these things that wear us down when we can't anymore. God doesn't love us any less when we question where God is among the pain or even blame God for what is wrong. The difficult thing is sifting through all the weariness to find God's shining light. It is difficult to help be the light, which our faith asks of us when we are adding to the pain. But by coming together as a community, we are strengthened in our faith and reminded that we have it within us already. We just need to find it and reconnect to it. It makes me think of The Wizard of Oz, which I'm a big fan of, and the Good Witch telling Dorothy, "You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself." It's like God telling us, "I planted the faith, all the faith you will ever need inside of you when you were born. And it's there. You just need to trust that it's enough." We won't always be able to get the external validation and assurance that we may be seeking. There won't always be someone alongside of you affirming that your faith is strong and real. We have to connect to our faith internally so that we can share it externally. When I felt the call to become a pastor and go to seminary, I was worried. I grew up in church and was faithful all my life, but I doubted that what I had was enough. I was worried that I didn't know enough about the Bible and that I would look stupid if I showed up not knowing everything beforehand. What got me past that point? Someone telling me that that is what seminary is for, to teach you about the Bible, and for me discovering and being willing to admit that I won't ever know it all. I learn new things every week, and I hope you all do too. In preparation for my sermon, I read about the lectionary and discuss it with others and gain insight that I didn't know in order to write my sermon. I don't like to appear as if I don't know something, because then I might not get the words of affirmation that make me feel appreciated and valued. However, I also know that no one knows everything, and we always have something new to learn. Through our faith, we can grow and learn to strengthen the faith that we've had all along. Who we are is enough. What we have inside of us is enough. And it is exactly enough to grow the church and show others the light of Christ. You don't have to be the pastor to minister to one another. You can trust your faith in God, and you will see what you have increase, even if it's starting out as the smallest mustard seed. Faith is miraculous that way. Amen.